Hello and welcome to KDP A to Z. This is a channel where I show you how to make a passive income online by self-publishing books. I've been doing this for over a year and I wanted to share with you some of my experience with self-publishing about what has and hasn't worked for me. So if you've never done any self-publishing before or you're still struggling to make any money, this is going to be a great video for you. I'm going to be showing you some of the do's and don'ts of KDP. So the first thing that I've learnt is that it's not a get rich quick scheme. Certainly, there's a lot of money to be made, and potentially it's without limits. If we check out one of these books, it has been published very recently, Motivational Swearing Quotes Colouring Book, and we check this out, we can see that this has been independently published and it's making daily sales of £119 with monthly sales of nearly £3,000. So there is a lot of money potentially to be made, but it's certainly not quick. Doing this is time consuming. There's some people that say you can make a book in a couple of hours and that you're going to make thousands of pounds. It's just not true, unfortunately. That might happen after a little bit of time when you start getting really good, but it's not going to happen to begin with. Formatting, editing, research, book cover design, keyword research, it all takes time. So you are going to need to put in quite a bit of effort to get these kind of results. The next thing I've learned is it's not 100% free. There's an awful lot of things that you can do for free, and I really do focus on this on my videos. So do check those videos out and subscribe to my channel if that kind of thing interests you. But there are some bits of software that you are going to need. So I definitely recommend things like Microsoft Office for your formatting of your actual book. You'll definitely benefit from a subscription to Creative Fabrica because that's got loads of great content that you can use within your books and saves you creating an awful lot of things. If you're going to design your own front covers, it's best to have some kind of good design software, such as InDesign, Adobe, or Canva Pro. In my last video, I showed you a lot of things you could do for free on Canva, so take a little look at that and have a practice at making some covers. Again, you'll find this quite time consuming. The other thing you could do is buy a front cover that's been designed, and I would always recommend this because they're going to look much more professional than anything you can create quickly. There's some really good websites where you can get this kind of thing done for you, such as Fiverr. My next bit of advice is do your research. Please don't waste your time making books without researching first whether it's going to be profitable. I've made some really good videos about free tools that you can use to find a good niche, and I'll leave the link to this in the description. This video I did make quite a while ago, but I still use this technique and it still works for me. So one thing I definitely wouldn't recommend is making journals or notebooks. These sorts of things, you can see here that for a notebook, we've got over 100,000 results for notebooks. It's just way too saturated. You're not going to make any money on these. And if I have a little look further down the page here, you can see that most of these have actually got a spiral effect. You can't get that with KDP. There are some here that are sponsored, so this is probably a self-published one, and I doubt this has made any sales. It's certainly not got any reviews on it. So this person is most likely wasting money because this is not going to sell in a sea of other notebooks that are already good. I'd always try to stick with one niche. We've all done it. I'm guilty of it. You've published a book, it's not done very well, and you try something else. But what was it that made you choose that niche? You must have done some research and chosen it for a good reason. So why are you giving up on it? If you think it's going to be potentially a good seller, stick with it. The truth is, you probably aren't going to make any money on your first book or books. Making sales means having a good book that looks great. Mediocre books just aren't going to sell, and it's unlikely that you're going to make a fantastic book on your first try. So if you really think it's a good niche, then do stick with it. It's worth having another go or goes at it to keep practicing and you'll get there. It's going to be so much better for you to be able to compete with yourself rather than other people. If someone's looking for an activity book and they see lots of similar books from the same author, they immediately start thinking it's branded. So it must be good, and they're much more likely to purchase it. By continuing in the same niche, people will start to see that you're a name in the industry. They'll start thinking you're professional and you'll become more of a trusted brand. And this is where you're going to start seeing more and more sales. This would apply to someone like Jade Summer. You can see here her book here that's selling for $9.99, which is relatively expensive for a colouring book, has got over 15,000 reviews. Now, Jade Summer is someone that has independently published, and they are making the similar sort of books each time, always colouring books, always good quality. So nowadays, I dare say this artist would just need to put Jade Summer onto the book, and that would be enough for them to make some great sales. That being said, you cannot steal other people's work. Names like Jade Summer will be a trademark, so please don't even think about making a colouring book and putting on it as Jade Summer as the pen name, because that's going to get you banned. It's absolutely fine to use a pen name, but do check for things like trademark. Now, I've made a video on how to check trademarks, and something like Jade Summer, that's just pure theft if you're going to put your name on a colouring book that is Jade Summer. So I imagine that would be trademarked. I haven't checked, but it's not worth taking the risk of getting banned. My next tip would be to advertise at the very beginning when you first publish your book. By this, I don't mean that you always have to pay exactly, but it is worth considering. There is the option to market your book through Amazon. But there are other free ways that you can do some advertising. So, for example, you could share it on Facebook, you can make videos on TikTok, or use your own social media as much as possible. The idea here is to get as much positive feedback as you can, because the more stars people see, the better they judge your book to be. I am much more likely to make a purchase of this book, which has got much more stars, than one that hasn't been rated at all. Now, I don't think I'm the only person that this applies to. I think everyone is very similar. So do try to get your friends to buy your books maybe and give you some reviews, or focus on doing lots of different advertising initially, as this will build up ratings and lead to your book making continued sales when you don't have to advertise. My next piece of advice that you can't go wrong with is to use A plus content. Now, A plus content is the bit, I'm just going to scroll down here, the bit that says from the publisher. This is where you've got pictures here of what kind of things inside the book. And it's a really good way of showcasing your work. This is a great colouring book that's been independently published and is doing really well. This is completely free to do, and it does give your book an air of professionalism that sets it apart. Now, I've made a video on how you can create your own A plus content, and again, I'll pop that in the description. I've certainly found that books that I've put in with A plus content compared with others that I haven't used it for have done much better. On a final note, I just wanted to say that the best way to approach KDP is to treat it like a hobby. I certainly do that. I can't say that I'm making hundreds of pounds every month. Some months do well, some months don't. I would say it is making me some good pocket money, and it's something I enjoy. So if you don't enjoy it, don't go into it. It is going to be time consuming and it will require a bit of effort, but make it enjoyable for yourself. Otherwise, it's not worth doing. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, do give me a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to my channel, because I'm always showing you loads of different things on how to do the best research, the best keywords, as well as loads of other tools that you can use for free to create your books. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.